A coalition of 10 human rights and environmental justice organizations has called on the federal government and the multinational oil companies to set aside a periodic $1 trillion for cleaning of the Ogoni land and the entire Niger State region. The group also demanded immediate stop to all oil extraction activities in the Niger Delta and leave the oil in the ground. They also urged the federal government to completely demilitarize the Niger Delta, citing decades of environmental destructions, human rights violations, and displacement of local communities. Director of Health of Mother Earth Foundation and chairman of the Ken Saro-Wiwa 30th Anniversary Planning Committee, Dr. Nnimmo Bassey, told the journalist that the Ogoni people have categorically rejected all negotiations or discussions aimed at restarting the oil operations in the land. Similarly, Director of Corporate Accountability and Public Participation Africa, Akimbode Oluwafemi, stressed that genuine accountability requires oil companies to clean up pollution, restore livelihoods, and take full legal, financial, and moral responsibility for the damage inflicted on Ogoniland. The coalition insisted that any attempt to resume the oil exploration in Ogoni without environmental justice is unacceptable, warning against state-backed coercion disguised as development. The groups urged the federal government to prioritize the well-being of the people over corporate greed, stressing that justice for impacted communities must come before profit-driven exploitation.
If we truly aim to clean up the Niger Delta, the pollution since 1958, since 1956 in the Niger Delta, $1 trillion, all the money earned from oil is not enough, will not be enough to restore the environment. Yeah. Oil wells that were drilled in 1958, recently I've visited some of them, oil well 1, 2, 3, 6, 12, 13, and the rest, in Otuabagi area, in the Olobri oil field. Those oil wells were abandoned in the 1970s. They are still leaking oil. They were never decommissioned. They were never dismantled, never removed. So this is the biggest struggle. $1 trillion may sound like a lot of money, but if they don't have it now to put on the table, the first thing is to agree that this amount is needed to seriously pursue the restoration of the environment. How can we live in such an intolerable environment? Women are having menopause before they get to 30 years of age. There are a lot of birth defects. There's rampant infertility, all kinds of diseases in the region. And we think that money is the issue. Money is never the issue, no matter how big it may sound. What we need is a commitment to get the cleanup done.
The takeoff grant, I was on the board of IPREP, Governing Council, until recently. I can tell you that if they pay for all the contracts that have been awarded, one kobo is not left in that. What is 1 billion? That was supposed to be for the first 5 years of 200 million per year. So the first 5 years, if they spend the money according to the plan, 1 kobo will not be left after 5 years. And now you are talking about a project that has gone up to 9 years. The time has come. That project will take up to 30 years to clean up the entire Ogoni. So the time has come for the government of Nigeria and the oil company, the polluter, to begin to look for this $1 trillion. And like we said, we are linked together. You cannot just think about cleaning Ogoni. By now, a study should be going on in other Niger Delta states to know the level of pollution in the place.
We don't have good schools. The land, the water, the air that we breathe are all polluted. So it's only right for the government of Nigeria to do the right thing by setting up a board to clean up the entire Niger Delta, and setting aside $1 trillion is not money that's it's not difficult for the Nigerian government to come across. For instance, how much do we drill on a daily basis? How much oil do we drill on a daily basis? How much gas do we sell on a daily basis? Do we know? As journalists, I will ask you that question. How much oil do we drill on a daily basis? That you are coming to tell me or asking me that $1 trillion may be too much or it's not too much for the Nigerian government. the way this present administration is going about tax reforms and trying to raise money, I think if they follow that same pattern, they will be able to raise that money. If the Niger Delta is important to them, if the people of the Niger Delta is also important to them, they will make frantic efforts in ensuring. Have we also asked about the life expectancy of people in the Niger Delta? I think you need to visit there to see what people are passing through.
The African instance contribute less than 4% of the problems, but we are the receiving end. And at the United Nations Convention on Climate Change, discussion have been around climate financing, loss and damage. But for us, we are saying there should be climate reparation. There were historical injustices committed as a people on our environment, and that these corporations must be paid. No company, no corporation should be allowed to divest or walk away from those liabilities as they are trying to do now in Nigeria in the name of divestment. They should not walk away while people still drink poisoned water and farm on toxic soil. True accountability means cleaning up their mess, restoring what was lost, and submitting to legal, financial, and moral responsibility for crimes they have committed against our people and against our environment.